going on, Viall listeners? What, was it too much again?
It's always a surprise to me.
I always have a panic right in the beginning.
Okay, that's what it is.
And then I project it out into the world. How is everyone doing? I hope wonderful. Happy Hump Day for those of you tuning in at the appropriate time. Mm-hmm. Happy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, if it is any other day. Rochelle, how you doing?
It's been a week, but everyone has those.
Why has it been a week?
I totaled my car, I'll be honest.
You what?
I totaled my car and then I had to get a new car, and I hate buying cars. And
like recently?
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
Why didn't you share this?
I was like, when you're just kind of in a state of shock and you're like, and I just felt like a loser. And
were you in the car accident?
Yes.
Good time.
I wasn't planning on sharing that, but if I seemed off last
You're
week,
okay?
that was why. Yeah, I'm totally
Didn't you recently have...
Yeah. A guy ran a red light and ran into 4 cars, and my car got totaled in January. So that's why I was especially like, are you kidding me? But...
And this time... I'm sorry.
I know.
You okay? You seem fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Physically
that's what I'm like,
fine.
Just grateful to be alive.
And now you have to get another car?
I got one last week. Yeah.
Insurance cover this?
Yes.
Well, that's...
It always could be worse.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if this will help you make you feel better. I slept like a baby last night. It was a mental health day apparently on the internet.
Yesterday, yeah.
Which honestly gave me a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
Because it was like
right.
and then I was like, do I post or not?
Right.
Anyways, I needed to sleep with my weighted blanket because it very much helps with my anxiety. I don't know if you've been using it after
I slept
your
with
car
my
crash.
weighted blanket because I was like not sleeping because I was stressed, and it really helped calm me down.
When I got a weighted blanket, it was gifted to me.
Yes.
And I was like, what is this?
Yes.
And then I actually tried it when my parents were in town. And I'm like, well, here's my comforter. I'll just sleep with this weighted blanket.
Oh, because you gave them your comforter?
What a dream.
Yes, it really makes a difference.
It really helps. It really does help when I'm stressed. It feels like something is holding me.
Yeah, I love my calming comfort.
In a very nice way.
Yes.
I slept like a baby last night because National Mental Health Day affected my mental health in a not so great way. Calming Comfort has an amazing weighted blanket. It's breathable. It's not suffocating. It's weird. I don't know.
It's machine washable.
It's machine washable. You're not hot, but it's weighted. You would think that wouldn't be the case.
Yes.
But it's amazing. I slept better. Its stress levels just melt away.
Exactly.
It helps my relaxation. I can't recommend a weighted blanket from Calming Comfort enough. And I think you guys should absolutely try it. It's incredible. So to get your weighted blanket from Calming Comfort, the Calming Comfort weighted blanket comes with a 90-day anxiety-free, stress-free, best night's sleep of your life guaranteed from Sharper Image. Right now, just for our listeners, you can go to calmingcomfortblanket.com. Use promo code VIALL at checkout to receive 15% off the displayed price. Again, that's calmingcomfortblanket.com, promo code VIALL. And because you can't put a price on a great night's sleep, go online now at calmingcomfortblanket.com and use promo code VIALL for your special discount today.
Sleep well.
I'm really sorry about your car.
Oh, thank you. It's just life, life throws you curveballs.
Life is, you know what? I almost tweeted that yesterday on Mental Health Day. Life is hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Even though we have blessed lives in the grand scheme of things for the people far less fortunate of perspective.
Yeah.
Life can get you down.
Yeah.
I if I can just be fine, that's a win.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Fine. What are you dating? What's going on there?
Sure. Yeah. I'm active.
Yeah. Got a couple stokes in the fire.
I wouldn't say a couple, but I'm active. What is it? Yeah, I'm active. I have a healthy. I thought about,
What?
I have I'm having mutually beneficial experiences.
Oh, okay. And how did you define that with the other people?
Well, do you feel benefited by this experience?
Yeah. Wait, you mean like friends with benefits?
I'm just saying I'm having a mutually beneficial experience.
What does that mean?
I know, right?
You're being very cryptic.
I know. It's fun.
Okay.
We talk about being a little bit cryptic with our love lives with our wonderful guest, Becca Tilley.
We definitely do.
In this episode. Another home run episode, if I don't say so myself. I feel like.
What a sweetheart.
What a sweetheart. It's another easy listen.
Yes, exactly.
Becca's a wonderful person. We have become friends over the years. And I think she's just a person who is obviously wonderful and sweet and successful, and she's done a lot with what she's been given to her. So many people in the world waste opportunities, I think, in life, and Becca's done a good job of not only wasting her opportunity but expanding it and growing it, and it's always fun to hear her story. Not wasting it.
But also not coming off as like fame hungry, and
she does a really good job with that.
Yeah. Like you don't feel like she's selling out.
She's very thoughtful in that regard. Sometimes
it's a difficult
too
balance.
thoughtful. She will admit. She's just a wonderful, just lighthearted person. And I enjoyed having a chat with her. And I hope you guys enjoy listening to said chat. Anything else we need to get off our chest between you and I?
Between you and I hope not.
I'm slightly offended that you were in a car accident and I didn't hear about it.
I didn't really tell anyone. I was just like...
Why do you do that? You don't want to burden the world with your problems?
I just talked to my therapist about it. Like, I kind of feel like I have to do everything on my own, and it's not sustainable.
It's not. What else? You were going to say something.
Oh, just if you have it in your heart to donate to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, we're so close to our goal.
Save Rochelle's sister's life and all the other people suffering from this terrible disease of cystic fibrosis.
Yes.
Also, don't let me down, because I promised them I would raise $5,000.
Yeah, and you're going to make Nick look real bad. It's real embarrassing. He's in like 5th place on the leaderboard.
I can't tell if my listeners want me to look bad. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Pandering for your love. Anyways, yes. As always, we are raising money for cystic fibrosis. Woo. Finding your heart to donate $1 or $2 or $3 or $5 or $20. But anyways, I still think if you all listening right now, go to our show notes and click on that and donate $1. PayPal, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
For all of you with PayPal, $1. Boom, we're there. We did it. You like that? Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. As always, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. I think you're really going to enjoy this episode with my lovely friend, Becca Tilley. So much great stuff into the Miley Cyrus controversy.
Yeah.
Did we shade Miley in this episode or not?
No, not at all.
Not at all. We love Miley Cyrus. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy this. Coming up next, Becca Tilley.
Hunt a Killer.
Hunt, what? I dabbled in it. It's fun. It's an ongoing... I feel like a crime fighter.
Yes. They send you this box. I have it on my lap right now, and it has all of these clues that you use to help figure out a case. And you get a new box each month. And you can see it's really high quality stuff that they send you.
I love it. It's not, it's detailed. If you like to be a critical thinker, if you have ever watched a CSI, whatever city they're in, or
if you listen to Serial,
all the other procedural shows, if you listen to Serial podcast, if you have that type of thing, a brain or whatever, Hunt a Killer is the game for you, whether it's by yourself, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with a group of friends. I mean, it's also like, how many times do we think, I don't want to do the same thing over and over. Let's do something different.
Exactly.
This is the thing you need to do.
Exactly. Plus, it's a fun gift for someone who loves murder.
It's got thousands of online community members, so you can even interact with people who you never met.
Yes,
who
there are
struggling,
Facebook groups.
Facebook groups.
Yeah.
2,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. No wonder Fast Company named them as one of the most innovative entertainment companies of 2019. I think it's super fun, so you guys should check it out. So right now, just for our listeners, go to huntakiller.com/VIALL for 20% off your first box. Hurry. to take advantage of this offer and embrace your inner detective. That's huntakiller.com/VIALL for 20% off your first box. Huntakiller.com/Viall. It's not just about catching the murderer. It's about the friends you make along the way.
So many good friends.
Proactive. Be proactive with Proactive.
Ooh, I like. Did you make that up?
I just did.
Wow. You should be a copywriter.
You think so?
Maybe.
Maybe. Listen, your kids, it's hard to be a kid these days. It's hard to go to middle school. It's hard to go to high school. It's even harder with a little pimple or a lot of pimples. Proactive is doing amazing things. They've been doing it for years. They are innovators and leaders in this industry.
Exactly.
Help a kid out with Proactive. Again, it's America's #1 acne brand.
Yeah.
Acne has helped fight acne for almost 25 years.
Why would you go anywhere else?
Why would you go anywhere else?
You know, the thing I love is that they make it easy, especially when you're a teenager. You have a lot going on. Yeah. They have these 3 products that you need: the deep cleansing face wash, the daily oil control, and adapalene gel. And adapalene, it's really exciting. It's a prescription strength retinoid that goes deep into your skin, and it's new to Proactive. So
if you have a pimple, you can't get it away, Proactive are the people to help you there. So whether it's you, a loved one, a friend, a kid, the holidays are coming up, Proactive, great options. Right now, for our podcast listeners, you can get an exclusive offer only available by going to proactive.com/Nick.
Come on.
With this exclusive podcast only offer, you will receive for free Proactive's on-the-go bag, which features their T-Zone oil absorber, body acne wipes, and green tea moisturizer. Close to $100 value.
What?
There's also a 60-day money-back guarantee. No excuses, people. So don't wait and go to proactive.com/Nick to get this podcast-only offer. Again, go to proactive.com/Nick to order and get clear skin for the win. Becca Tilley, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Was that my intro?
Yeah.
Well, I just saw an intimidating article about me starting controversy.
And the picture that was chosen for you. You look, I wouldn't want to mess with that young lady.
I look so
You look
fierce.
Strong, fierce. Yeah.
You look like a high-powered lawyer.
It's from like 3 years ago.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it could be worse. I've seen worse of myself.
I gotta say, I don't know. I've never seen a bad picture of you.
Oh my God. Go to Getty Image. Don't do this right now.
Yeah, Getty isn't Getty the worst?
Getty?
It's like, oh, God, this is...
Causes like...
I really feel like I have an honest representation of myself on my Instagram, and yet when I go to Getty or Google...
Why would you go to Getty? Just to feel bad?
Yeah, it's like, I just need to be brought back down to earth.
Well, it's just like, these are all professional photos. How are they taking the worst photos?
Is it them, Nick, or is it I?
This has really started off in a very vanity episode.
But for the people at home, this is what the article says. Caitlyn Carter's friend Becca Tilley has some thoughts about Miley Cyrus being so public with Cody Simpson.
The word thoughts.
What did you say? And I actually know a little bit about this. This Cody Simpson guy.
Yeah.
He's a young surfer Australian guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sexy.
And she's what? She's just getting a little Australian youth love.
Yeah. And basically what happened is Tanya, my best friend and podcast co-host, was saying that, she was proud that Miley was standing up for herself, being like, if a guy were to get out of a relationship and started dating a bunch of girls, no one would question it. But because I'm a girl, I get slut shamed.
I saw that. And I actually thought about that, and I don't know if I totally agree.
No, it's true. It really is true. And I wasn't disagreeing with that. But I was saying she's putting all this stuff on her Instagram. It brings people, when you're that massive, like when you have that much of a following, of course people are going to weigh in on it.
No, I get that, but you don't think, and I definitely think slut shaming is not equal with the sexes, for sure. I'm not saying that. But if a public figure, a guy, got out of a marriage and then immediately started dating publicly another guy, you don't think there would be comments about him being kind of like he's a man whore, or he's just like, oh my God. Like, I don't think people would not make comments.
People are always going to make comments. And that was my point. Like, when you put it out there, people, even if it's like, okay, this isn't fair, it shouldn't be this way, and she stood up for herself, it's still gonna get a reaction because people can't not share their opinion.
That's what I kind of, when it came out, that was my thought. It's just like, well, wait, I don't understand. If you want to go out and do this, go nuts. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't want people to have an opinion, why are you being so public with it? It's like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Like, you can't go out in the middle of the street and like streak on Hollywood Boulevard and then be like, wait, I want my privacy. Like you can't do that. And I'm not saying she's necessarily doing that, but she's obviously, and rightfully and good for her, saying, this is me, this is what I want to do.
And the thing is, it's like, obviously if there's paparazzi photos or people taking photos and sending them into tabloids or whatever, she can't control that. But she's able to control what she posts, and she's being public with it, which is fine. But it does bring in these people who follow her or follow anyone who's in the public, feel like, I need to share my opinion on this. Like, my opinion is so important. She needs to hear it. And as I'm friends with Caitlin Carter, I just was kind of like, this must be hard watching someone that you were, with so publicly dating someone else. And so naturally, I felt like defensive in that sense. And then I didn't really want to get into it because it's none of my business. And I couldn't figure out how to retract anything. So then the quote under this tagline is, it's like, there's photos everywhere, That's the quote for me, which is so unintelligent now.
Like,
you know how it is.
I say like way too much. So
yeah. That was me uncomfortable. It's like,
Yeah, that quote does sound like you're being very cautious about what you should say.
It was one of those, like, I was in a hole trying to dig myself out and I couldn't. So.
Let me ask you this. Now, your friend who you're defensive of, you felt for her because there were these images of this Cody guy out there, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, oh, that sucks. We were just dating and, the details. But yet, those two were kind of doing the same thing after the marriage ad. Does your friend, do you think, kind of self-reflect and be like, you know what, now I kind of get from her ex's, Liam's point of view of like, oh, maybe we were a little strong out of the gates even publicly there, or is there a balance there? Because it's kind of like sometimes we do that in like relationships, in the moment it feels good, and then sometimes shit needs to happen to us for us to see the other side. I have empathy for someone else's point of view. Do you feel like Caitlin has that a little bit?
I don't know. We never even really talked about that. And to be honest, I don't know enough details. Not that I would share them anyway, but it's just one of those things where I could feel what that would feel like, being with someone and then seeing, and I mean, such a public person, you like see it. So I'm literally, I hate controversy. So I'm like, Miley, date whoever you want. Be happy.
I never thought we'd be talking about Miley Cyrus kicking.
Well, I think it's interesting because both of you guys are kind of private about your dating lives.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why you have strong feelings about it.
Well, I guess it's a good point, Rochelle. It's that I'm private in the sense that, I mean, I am, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've talked about this on the show. I feel like I have two choices when it comes to my dating life. I can, unless I'm in a like committed, like this is my boyfriend girlfriend situation where we're dating. Like when you look at my social, it basically looks like I've been alone since Vanessa and I broke up.
Yeah.
Like I'm just a lonely guy who's never like
How are you still single?
The scent of a woman in his room. I feel or I have that choice. Or I can look like a man whore. In the sense that every girl I might like date, go on a couple dates with, or maybe hang out for a week, or like whatever, and if I would have scatter those people who are in my life on my social, like out of context posting about various women, it would just look like I'm a whore. Yeah. And so I've chosen the former, and that's why I'm fairly private that way, because it's like, well, I haven't been in a relationship like the one you would blast on social.
Ship station,
hard to say, easy to use.
Just hard for you.
I'm offended. Listen, everyone, a lot of people, not everyone, whether you are a small business owner like myself, you do a lot of shipping for, I don't know, to friends and you give gifts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, again, maybe you run a very small operation just outside of the comfort of your home.
Yeah. Etsy.
Or a slightly larger scale. ShipStation is great for you. They make shipping so much easier, and they give you so much information about what you're shipping, tracking orders, especially if your customer has a situation and you have to rectify. It just gives you so much insight.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's so great. So whether you are selling on Amazon, Etsy, you have your own website, whether you want to send USPS, FedEx, UPS, even Amazon fulfillment, ShipStation, it's truly amazing.
And you know this because
I use it every day for natural habits. When we get orders,
Yes.
I get notifications on
do?
ShipStation. It's fucking great.
Oh, you do on ShipStation.
Well, yeah. Well, I have my software.
Yes.
Can I swear? I said fucking great. I don't
Yeah.
know. I have my CRM software. We track our inventory, runs our website, and it's linked to ShipStation.
Oh.
And so then it also just and so I have my fulfillment center, so it's a little larger scale, but we
Yes.
use ShipStation, and then I get notified when orders are fulfilled.
Amazing.
And how much it's costing me. I get reports, so then I can track my shipping costs.
Yeah.
In terms of it's truly great, and it gives me so much insight. It's right there, and I can run information reports. And if you're using it on a much smaller scale, like out of the comfort of your home, it just makes it so much easier and convenient. It's the number one choice of online sellers, and I am not surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
You'll ship more in less time with the best rates available. So right now, Viall File listeners can try ShipStation for free for 60 days when you use offer code VIALL. There's absolutely no risk. You can start your trial for free without entering a credit card information. That is key to me as someone who constantly forgets to decline the 7-day trial and then get charged.
Yeah.
This is not that case. There's literally no reason not to try it if you're looking for an efficient way to ship things around the country or the world. It's a game changer for natural habits. I use it every day. Check out anchoils.com, by the way. If you feel like it, ShipStation.com, enter promo code offer VIALL, ShipStation.com, make ship happen.
Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Viall.
Boom.
Yeah, and I do feel like so many people come across as single, but it's like you're not going to post a photo when you're going on dates here and there. With like dating is like
hot date tonight.
Yeah.
You go on the date. You're like, hold on, don't move. Click. And you just take a picture of them. What are you doing? Oh, just like gotta let people know I'm out there.
Yeah.
I'm dating.
I don't want people to know that I'm just sitting at home alone. No, it's interesting. Like I've been in a relationship for a while now, and I still, I talk about being in a relationship, but I'm very private about the details and who I'm in a relationship with. But I still people will post on my photos like, how are you still single?
Yeah. I mean, I get that 30 times a day.
That's what I'm saying.
It's always like every post I have, oh my God, how are you still single? Heart emoji eyes. Because I'm a total loser. What do you want me to say?
Mine's more like, how are you still single? There must be something wrong.
Yes.
And I'm like, first of all, I'm not.
Right.
Single, but
Right.
Well,
otherwise,
I mean,
if I wanted to
that's
be.
just kind of how it is. I think it's definitely more middle America culture. I remember Troy Aikman. He's a football player. For those of you who don't know, he's retired. He's a Hall of Fame former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. When I was growing up, I remember reading the Sports Illustrated article. And at the time, Troy was at the end of his football career, which means he was in his early to mid 30s. Mm-hmm. And the article was about him being single. Like not the article wasn't about him being single, but in the article, it talked about him being single. And I remember, and I was probably, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 at the time. I remember thinking,
He's so old.
Not even that, but it was like, I wonder why he's single and what's wrong. Like, I remember that. It was just more like there must be a reason. There must be an explanation. Looking back, I'm thinking, what a brilliant man. The guy was a football player, chose to not cheat, have this wife or girlfriend. The guy probably had a ton of guilt-free sex, retired, settled down in his mid-30s, and now he's got a family. Like, what a brilliant man. Like, what a...
I mean, yeah, he didn't have to deal with the ladies that were on the side of his marriage or relationship.
Yeah, so many athletes are like, you know, they'll settle down and marry like their high school or college sweetheart. They're like 24, 25, and then all of a sudden they become a star. Women are throwing themselves at them. And we've heard this. It's a story as old as time.
Oh yeah,
the athlete who cheats on his girlfriend or wife or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they all do, but it's it's a red flag.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, if you're an athlete and you're in 30s old for an athlete to like you retire, like why wouldn't they all be single in their 20s? I don't understand.
I know, and I feel like it's so common that athletes get married young.
It is, right?
But don't you think there's something to be said for the support of a partner, especially in the difficult field like that?
Yes, it's yes, that is the flip side of feeling like that one person you can trust, the person who gets you, understand you, as opposed to all the other strangers who you don't trust who are throwing yourselves at you, but you do want to have sex with.
Oh my god!
I'm from Louisiana originally, and I thought I would be married with 2 kids by 25.
Same.
When 25 came around, I was like, wow.
Did you freak out?
Couldn't be no. I was kind of like, oh, this was not, I think that was just what I thought I was supposed to do. You know, I had that realization of like, whoa, this was just cultural, how I was raised and how everyone else did it. So I thought, oh, that's how I have to do it. And so I didn't have that freak out moment. And then I made the wise decision to follow my heart and go on The Bachelor.
Did you submit yourself? Did you audition?
No, my best friend from high school nominated me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Becca Tilley. Let's get to your. We'll indulge in the Bachelor journey of yours. I always was slightly offended that you got no grief for being a 2-time contestant, and yet.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know if this is why, but this is what my theory. So I posted a tweet when Ben was announced as Bachelor, and it was something along the lines of, Ben is what every 27-year-old virgin named Becca is looking for. That was my claim
got a
to
lot
fame.
of traction.
So much traction, and then the producers called me like 2 weeks before and asked what I was doing for the fall. It was like Elon. He was like, what are you doing this fall? And I was like, I don't know why. He was like, you know why. And I said, I want to do it. Like, I want to meet Ben, but I want to come on at the very beginning. I don't want it to be a mid-season entrance.
No, you literally said, I don't want to do it. Nick did, I bet.
I didn't say that, but that's what I was insinuating.
Sure. Well, I mean, in fairness, like we've heard this story obviously from me, is that the reason I showed up late is because they called me after the season started.
Yeah.
And I when this, me and Caitlin, that whole thing where I was like, I'm not going to come. And she would, you should come. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm going. And it wasn't, and that was when it was Caitlin and what was her name? The two bachelorettes.
Brett.
Yeah.
Brett.
So there was always that was
Hunger
part of the
Games.
That was part of the reason where I was just like hoping they'd pick Brett.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, you're saying they asked you to come before it was even started filming?
No. Caitlin and I were.
No, but Caitlin was like, you should come on.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking plenty of her, that. Yeah. Clearly we talked about that, but she was she kind of said it in a joking wanting to thing, and I kind of said, yeah, that'd be fun. But again, I had such a not awesome experience with Andy. It was just I'm not doing that,
Yeah.
And I've said this before. Honestly, it wasn't until, not to sound corny, when I found out they picked Caitlin. And I remember it vividly, where I was just truly sad. I was really bummed. I was for 3 days just waiting to find out, checking Reality Steve. And then it was Caitlin, and I called my dad, and I was just like, well, and then I'm watching the season go on, and then that's when I got a phone call. And that phone call happened because of Paradise.
Oh.
They were trying to get me to go on Paradise.
And you were like, I'm into Caitlin.
Well, I cleverly was just like, because I wasn't gonna ask, and I was just like, I guess I think I've said this already, but I was just like, well, if Caitlin was your bachelorette, I'd probably go to Paradise, And the next day, I got a call from the same person.
Wait, if Caitlin was your bachelorette,
I said if Caitlin wasn't. I said I was just like, well, if Caitlin, if they had they picked Britt, I would have gone to Paradise, implying that maybe Caitlin would go to Paradise. It was like I basically planted that seed, and the next day I got the call, and then I was like, fuck it. And that I was just kind of at that point mentally all in.
Caitlin would have been fun to watch in Paradise.
Yeah, she would have thrived.
Oh, that would have been good.
That
was really, there's some people like I would say myself, Demi, like their Paradise is made for some people, and the Bachelor world's made for other people.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, Caitlin would have absolutely thrived.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Paradise?
I'm one of the people who would not have thrived in Paradise.
You don't think so?
No, but to be honest, because the humidity and like bugs
That's
and
what I was thinking.
I would have just been so irritable that I would have looked like the worst person ever on Paradise, because I was just angry at the surroundings, not about anyone else.
Do you get eaten by bugs?
I mean, enough that it's like, yeah.
I don't. Maybe that's why I don't get eaten by bugs.
Yeah,
like humidity, I don't know. Like
it
made my hair be kind of lusciously curly.
Your skin was dewy.
I was like it really. I really thrived down there.
You really did. It was like it gave you this new light of he should be the Bachelor. That's what it did.
Truly, that's my
never
best
have to
work.
wear a shirt.
I don't like
best work.
It's my best work. The first time I met Becca was, and I didn't know this at the time, you knew you were going back on. It was at iHeartRadio. Mm-hmm. And that's when I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, at the festival.
I remember it. I remember
at the festival?
It was at the festival. And I always but Becca made a comment at me that made me kind of roll my eyes. And I was
What?
Yeah.
Oh God, what did I? Was I like
No. So I met Becca, and Becca, you knew you were, because you literally left for Ben's seasons
right after
4
that.
days later.
Yeah.
So you definitely knew you were coming, and obviously you didn't tell anyone.
What did I say?
We were this group, and everyone's seen the photos on social media of the iHeart Festival when Bachelor people go, and so I'm with the Bachelor group, and at this season, Becca's there, I'm there, Josh Murray's there, a few other people, and this was right after Caitlin's season. So I'm,
feeling good.
No, I'm not
actually heartbroken.
I'm not. No, none of the. It's more like I'm just very recognizable. Like it's fresh. It's like maybe a month after Caitlin's season. So like I'm one of the more recent.
Was the iHeartRadio Festival your stagecoach?
No, I mean,
was it?
I had sex with one person that weekend, but one, and it was not a part of Bachelor Nation.
Nice.
It's great times. Anyways, so what I'm saying is I was fresh off the season. Now Josh didn't go on Caitlin's season. Obviously, he was still coming off of Andy's breakup, and then you were coming off of Chris's. But so anyways, when we're there, people were coming up to ask to take pictures, and I was getting asked a lot about people taking pictures of you, and people very nice. And Becca was watching it, and she goes, "Who would have thought people would like you all of a sudden?" And you didn't say it to be mean, but I was like, nice to meet you too, Becca.
God, what? I'm so sorry. That's rude.
I know you didn't mean it.
Great.
I know you didn't mean it to. You were literally just. It was like you were just having a thought that you said out loud, because like Becca was just like, well, this is Nick from Andy's season who like people don't like. And I'm just getting a bunch of people be like, Nick, can we have a picture? And like, I could tell Josh at the time was just like super pissed off too, because like he was the hero of Andy's season. And like, a bunch of people would come up, and more people were asking me. And most of it had to do with the fact that I was the most relevant coming off of Caitlin's season. And then you were like,
wow, what a horrible.
I just think it's funny you still remember that. It must have hit you.
Oh, I remember it. I was like, Jesus.
That's so awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you didn't mean it to.
No.
Either way, how embarrassing.
Never forget. But then you went on Ben's season.
Yeah, look at that person.
That was that. It was maybe. It was maybe.
God.
It was maybe 10 minutes before that. which is like given like, yeah.
Your face.
Okay. So I was saying, let's hold up the L for we're both losers. I thought that was like funny and self-deprecating. And so I thought he was holding up an L. Later on,
I held up a 2.
I go to Getty Images and I see that.
But you look great in that photo. I look like just a turd.
Like, why am I holding an L? I think I have a like movement watch on. Must have been the Spawn.
I wore that jacket on my one-on-one date in Dublin with Caitlin.
Wow.
Memories.
And that's when I was still, you see those beads? I for some reason thought Aldo beaded bracelets were like the thing.
Spiritual.
I don't know why. And like on Andy's season, I did the scarves. I don't know if you go, everyone wore scarves. I'm not like flexing here, but I'm the reason everyone wore scarves.
No.
Because I was wearing
You're
scarves.
not the reason. It's
He's
cold
the inventor
out.
of scarves.
I'm not on that season. Christ. And I'm not proud of it. Like I would wear I had these scarves and I brought like 2, right?
We know.
And I would and when we were in Venice, everyone like, whoa, let's just buy scarves. And then everyone started wearing them.
They went out and bought them.
And then it became like, and again, in that show, because the way they record it, like you can wear something a handful of times. And then when they air it, it looks like everyone's wearing it all the time.
It was like the pink jacket of Hannah's.
Yeah. So then I remember watching it being, well, this was stupid. And then for some reason, I didn't learn my lesson going back on Caitlin's season. It's like, no, not scarves, beads, beaded bracelets.
And now you're the chain guy, so.
Well, now and then, but no. What I will say is I would never do that on a Bachelor show is wear a chain. I've learned that you don't take fashion. That's not the place to take fashion risks.
What kind of chain are we talking about?
I like an occasional wallet chain.
Oh, a wallet chain.
I've been sporting that now and then.
I like a good wallet chain.
Yeah.
The thing with Bachelor, though, like I go back and watch episodes and I'm like, that outfit is so heinous.
For you or anyone else?
Me. No.
I'm
She's
pulling them up.
Be careful what I say. She has a tablet right in her lap.
Fashion moves fast.
It does. And like I remember thinking everyone on that season, I was like, God, everyone's dressed so well. And I went back and watched an episode and I was like, oof. And then on the one in the orange shirt, I have sweat stains on my armpit. They didn't even get those out. Is that not so rude?
Oh, wow.
And I literally
Wait, that's your like Bachelor profile photo?
And I'm not even trying to like I only sweat under my armpits when I'm like nervous.
Yeah.
So naturally it's like our biopic. I was nervous.
They could, yeah.
I almost died when I saw it. I was like,
you still look really good. It's certainly not as bad as mine, which was so bad of a photo that now that like people will speak to my glow up, there'll be comments of like, there are some people like when they compare that one first photo to like me now is like facial reconstruction of like
I mean, to be honest, yeah, you really
sure, but part of it is some of it is a beard, a new haircut, and like a tan.
Literally, that's all it is.
And it's just also a particularly bad photo versus the photos I choose to put on my social, which is still look like me and not augmented, but it's still my favorite. It's like my best photo I took out of 7.
The biopics are
7D.
like
7D.
even Tyler Cameron looked horrible in his biopic. Like they have bad photographers.
They do it. I don't know why they do it.
I remember seeing Hannah's like guys on their biopics, and I was like, this might be the worst looking like season of guys. And I literally think she had one of the best looking. I think Caitlin's season and I think Hannah's were like
hottest.
Yeah.
JoJo's. Ooh.
JoJo had some. Actually, I would disagree. JoJo had some great looking guys. Their personalities, not maybe so much. But like, if you're just looking for some pretty men, I mean, Chase is a good looking dude.
Oh yeah,
you know?
No,
Luke is a good looking guy.
There's always. I was just saying like how bad those biopics can be.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible.
They're terrible.
Even for the girls, it's like you see them on the show and they're like speaking and like you can see their personality. You're like, oh, her picture did not do her justice.
For questions that annoy you the most, I imagine having been in similar situations, do you get asked who you liked more, Chris or Ben, all the time?
Yeah, but it's kind of easy for me to answer that because when I went on Chris's season, I didn't watch the show like regularly or loyally, so I didn't know much about Chris other than he was a farmer and everyone loved him. So when I went on his season, it was kind of like, why not? Like, let's go see what happens. And
the normal kind of experience.
And then Ben's season, I like specifically went and I cried on Ben's. He made me cry.
So you were more heartbroken when Ben sent you home than being the runner-up.
Yeah, because
Chris.
because going into when I got dumped by Chris in the barn in Iowa, I knew
freezing cold barn.
Yeah, it was like you could see our breath. But going into that day, I knew that it wasn't going to be me because I knew they wanted a proposal. I told him that I wouldn't say yes to a proposal, and I just like had this feeling. And so when he broke up with me, I wasn't like, oh my god.
When you told Chris you didn't want a proposal.
You told Chris or the producers?
Chris. I'm shocked that they didn't air it. There were cameras right in our face. We were mic'd.
But you were probably also glad, nothing against Chris, but you were probably like, hey, he's a nice guy, but I don't even know, I don't want to get a proposal, but was it fair to say you're like, how do I try? You were pretty clear. They did air, I live in San Diego and I kind of like it.
Right.
Imagine Chris being like, oh, no, I'm picking you. And we're like, if it was the Colton thing, right? Like Colton's like, hey, well, you're it.
Yeah.
You know, if Colton pulled at Chris and was like, I don't care. I don't care. I want to date you. What do you think you would have done?
I mean, I would have tried, but because then Chris ended up coming to LA and was on Dancing with the Stars. So I think it would have like, at least that part would have been easy. So we could have at least spent time together. Cause I just remember being at the end being like, I don't even know him. Like I've spent so little time with him and like, I couldn't because, you watch the show, you hear about it and you're like, well, 8 weeks, if you're like spending a lot of time with someone, some people know within like the first date. I think I spent like a total of 48 hours with him. Like, I could not imagine.
Oh, I think that's being
generous.
48 total hours?
Like all together.
Yeah, no way. Not even close.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's so funny.
Because like what is a one-on-one date? Tops is maybe
6
5 hours.
But are you taking away the ITM interview?
I'm talking about just actual time together in each other's presence. So so maybe like 2.5, 3 hours in the morning part of the day, the day portion, and then another 2.5. So like 5 hours tops. So you get. So that's 5. You get maybe 3 one-on-ones if you're in a finale. So there's 15 hours, 20 hours. Then your overnight date is another.
I mean, really?
No way it's 48 hours.
I'm telling you. So I remember being at the end like, people get engaged? How do they say yes to marriage? Like a vow to, or, proposal to get married. But.
You guys didn't consummate in the fantasy suite.
No, that was my storyline. I was a virgin.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just.
That was not where.
Surprise! I lied.
I didn't, save myself for that long to consummate it with a man I knew for.
Good for you.
Thank you.
That would be a weird place to.
Lose your virginity.
I'm like, listen, I know you might be sleeping with. I know you may have slept with someone last night, and I know you might be sleeping with someone tomorrow night, but this feels like my moment, my time to shine. So, yeah.
And then Ben sends you home. Actually, I do remember running into you at another event after Ben sent you home, and I do remember you actually told me that you were like, Nick, I'm really, and I think you kind of referred to like my experience with Caitlin. You were just like, I was really.
Yeah.
Crushed.
Yeah, that one, it hurt. It like hurt my feelings, which is so sad to say, but that was my feeling of like, oh.
Is that because you were more vulnerable, you feel like?
I think so. I think I think my feelings were stronger for him. And so, and I knew that he was, like, I could see his relationships with some of the other girls. And I was like, I know he's not as into me as those other girls.
Well, on that point, like I've always kind of said, like with Caitlin, I get asked the same question. It's not I cared for Andy and Caitlin in the context of that world. It's hard for me to say which one I liked more. But with Caitlin, it was incredibly different because it was, in fact, for the girl. I did go for Caitlin. That's why I went. It went because I really, in that moment, liked her.
Yeah.
And if it was anyone else, I would never have gone. I would have been a one-hit wonder. If it weren't for my if infatuation with
Yeah.
Caitlyn at the time, I never would have gone back on. I never would have done Paradise. I would have just sold software.
Wouldn't
forever.
have done a Charmin commercial together.
would not
It's
have
number
done-
twos.
Oh, that was a great commercial. I loved that.
Thank you. We take great pride in our creativity with our bowel movement.
Did you guys really write that yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just like talked about being number twos and such.
That's awesome.
And then writing it is like Becca kind of came up with the original idea, and then I kind of came up with like, well, here's what I think we should talk about, and then we just kind of riffed, and then we just riffed for about 15, 20 minutes.
Rifted.
It's
Is
funny
that not a
though.
word? Rift?
It's funny
Rift.
because Nick is like he's like a professional in the sense of like he would just like go start talking and he'd be like, all right, let's do it again. And I was just kind of like following his lead because I have no experience in like improv like that. So I was like,
So it was their idea of you guys were number twos.
They had the original idea of just playing off the concept
That's
of,
funny.
of runner-ups, number
Yes,
two,
yes.
and then what,
Yeah.
taking a shit means. From that point, we really tried to hone in on
Yeah.
on it, so to speak.
on shit.
Speaking of, Becca, you've done such a good job of people in Bachelor Nation. So many of us constantly, it's this balance of staying connected to the franchise in ways, but also trying to separate ourselves and follow our own dreams, in which you've done such a good job. I mean, you did go back on twice, but it's been such a long time since you've been on the show, and yet you are having a bunch of success. And I know we'll get into your fashion line that you just launched, which is very exciting. But even before that, you've been doing a bunch of other things. And why do you think that is, that you've been so successful, I guess, in your longevity, which is you've had a very different path. You've done more than, I guess, maybe is meant. You could argue that more than anyone in Bachelor Nation, you have stayed, quote unquote, relevant and been successful in your career without relying so much on Bachelor Nation.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's a very big compliment. I think I mean, I don't know how to answer that question because I hate talking about myself or any like success or anything. But when I think I feel like you could probably attest to this too, but when we went on the show, social media was just having a moment. So right after Chris's season, I just had a bunch of new followers. Like that was the only change in my life.
Yeah.
And people would like want to talk about the show, but everything else is back to
It was just kind of it was like neat. That was
yeah,
it.
It's like cool. People like I have a lot of people that care about my weekend activity. So after Ben's season, it was kind of like some companies reached out and I was like, oh my God, like I'm getting free stuff and all I have to do is post a photo. Like I've really become jaded and like the years of how that works. But I like just went back to my normal life. I was very happy doing what I worked for a chiropractor. I like loved my friends. I was in San Diego. I had like a great life. And I met Robert, who ended up being my boyfriend, but at the time we were just friends, and he had an agency and he was kind of like, hey, if you want to do like brand collaborations, you could, make a living off of this. So I decided to move up to LA and I still had no idea. I was like doing flat tummy tea things. I was getting destroyed for those. And I kind of was like, what am I doing? How is this going to last? Is this just a moment in my life? And then I can go back to how things were. And I met my manager, who's also my best friend, Allie Grant. And she kind of just helped steer me in a direction where I was able to do what I wanted to do without like selling out to, the social media world. Like I was able to I could focus on what I wanted to do and say no to things I didn't want to do. And I think people have just stuck with me because they connected to me for whatever reason. And now I have a podcast with my best friend and excuse me, we have like, I would say the best listeners, like the most encouraging, supportive. Like I did an event last night for My Line with Macy's, and I would say 90% of the people, it was like a huge crowd. I was shocked. Like I thought I was going to be talking to like 5 people. And I was shocked at how many people came out of our listeners just to support, what I do. So I don't know. I think people just connected to me at that time and they've just stayed with me.
And now you have your fashion line.
And now I have my fashion line.
Want to plug it?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like it's not, it's certainly not nothing. It's not some like, it's with a Macy's.
Yeah.
And obviously a big, well-known brand.
Yeah, I think the fashion world kind of intimidates me a little bit. And so many people have done collaborations and lines, and I kind of just put it on the back burner because I didn't know. I was like, where do I begin? How do I start this? Do I partner with someone? Do I do it myself?
But you had wanted to do it for a while.
Yeah, but always was kind of, it was one of those things like I want to do it, but I might never do it because I'm scared. And so Macy's approached me last year right before Christmas and said that they want to do a collaboration with their line Bar 3. They kind of wanted to do a rebrand and have someone come in and design a line. And I went to New York and I designed everything myself. Like I got to choose everything. It was not like, here's your options. Which one do you want? It was like, let's create something out of nothing. So
Well, that's really cool.
yeah, so it was really fun, and it's on Macy's. The sizes are extra, extra small to extra, extra large, and the price point is $39.50 to $129.
So affordable.
So
Yeah.
reasonable.
yeah.
Yeah,
Are you wearing it right
my
now?
sweater is
So
my one.
cute.
I almost didn't wear it. I was like, what am I doing? Opportunities here.
Come on. That's super exciting.
Yeah, so thanks for letting me talk about it.
My pleasure. Anything else about the line that like, I mean, I think it's really, I didn't realize that you know, starting it from scratch. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought that. I would have thought that they would have been like, all right, you know,
I know.
which of these 10 things
Yeah.
you like, you know,
yeah,
like
that's what I
fine,
thought
like
it-
here are your options, but you really got to design and having done that, I've talked a lot about this on the show about so many things are intimidating for us. And yet, you know, listen, to be successful takes hard work and all those things. But when it comes to sometimes doing things that intimidate us, they usually, once we just start it and go for it, aren't as complicated as we originally thought. And when after we get done doing it, you look back and yeah, it probably took a lot of work and there were some intimidating moments, but like you were capable of doing.
Yeah.
And it's almost kind of like, why didn't I tackle this before? And it's always this kind of reminder that the things that we often just avoid the things that intimidate us because like, I could never do that. And we just go.
I am like the ultimate avoider of things that intimidate me.
Do you think now that you've done this, there's more things to come for Becca Tilley? Maybe not necessarily in the fashion world, but even your personal life of like when things intimidate you, will you remember this moment of, well, if I could do that, I could do this?
No, probably. I think it's ingrained in me to be intimidated and avoid things forever.
Really?
So normal.
I know. I think
I
it's just like, well,
Get that it's normal, but like these moments of like, oh, I started a fashion.
yeah. Well, I worked with a production company. I had so much guidance. I think if anything, I'll realize there are people that are willing to help you. And I think a lot of times you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do this on my own. But being in this like world and talking to different people, people are so willing to give advice and help out and like share their sources and who they
be
work
heard.
with. Yeah.
Because so few people are listening to take advice.
I know.
You know?
And so it's interesting. I've figured out that I feel like I have to carry it all on my shoulders. And it's not like that at all. Like there's so many people who want to help and support. And so if anything, I feel like that's what I've learned. But yeah, I don't like controversy. I don't like anything that intimidates me. I can be very like I get like
Does that
I think
bug
it's
you?
how I was raised.
Do you like that about yourself or do you not like that about
No,
yourself?
in a way I like it about myself because I don't in general don't like even seeing controversy. I don't like when people go like politics really just scares me because the way people talk to each other is so mean and hateful instead of just it being a conversation. But I think just how I was raised, it was like, you know, sometimes you just sweep it under the rug and move forward, you know? I think it's like I don't know if it's a Southern thing or what, but it's kind of like, don't try. And my whole thing is like making sure everyone feels kindness, and I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable around me, if that makes sense. So, I think my way of doing that is just avoiding confrontation. But really, I kind of wish I could be a little more assertive.
Interesting, because when you describe it, I mean, we're obviously very opposite
Yes.
in that regard. When you do that, do you feel like spending so much time making sure everyone's okay? Obviously, sounds so noble and generous and empathetic.
Exhausting.
But yes, it sounds like, are you starving your own personal needs? And like everyone else is fine, but I am freaking out inside, like I could only imagine. And I feel that way, and I still don't do that.
I don't freak out. Like, I am weirdly level 99% of my life. It's so weird. Like, I feel like maybe I should see someone about it.
Because you're so emotionally stable.
Yeah, I'm just so stable. It feels off,
So wait, yesterday...
Something feels weird.
Yesterday was National Mental Health Day on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Which I found to be ironic, given how much the internet causes mental health problems. Yeah. You feel like generally you're fine. You don't anxiety, all the things that we talk about mental health.
Yeah.
You're almost surprised by like, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything has ever caused any sort of instability in my mind, it is social media. And so I know when I get into that place, because it's not me, I'm like, I need to put my phone down and take a break, because this is so dumb that I'm letting this little device
So you're good at kind of self-policing yourself in terms of like...
I please others, I please myself, Nick. I'm here to
But even like, no, policing yourself... Not, I mean,
policing.
Policing.
Oh,
I don't enunciate, Becca. This isn't a big problem. But like, I sometimes don't. I'll have the self-awareness to be like, what you're doing, Nick, is terrible for you. And I'll be like, okay, I'll still keep doing it. Like, I don't know if I just enjoy pain or I'm a sucker for punishment, but I sometimes have a bad habit of actually stopping the action that's causing anxiety.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But no, it is though. I do have those moments where I'm like, wow, I'm giving so much energy, making sure everyone around me is so happy that have I done anything for is any of this good for me, or like, am I doing anything that's like pleasing myself? But then there's like that fine line of being selfish and being selfless. And that's really where I get in my head. I'm like, if I do this for me, am I being selfish, or is this healthy?
I think our superpowers are also our weaknesses. And I think your superpower is being kind and good. And that's why you have such kind and good listeners, and people love you because of who you are. So it's probably why you also struggle then of taking time for yourself. But yeah, I totally believe that.
Superpowers, and like, what's my superpower and weakness, Rochelle? You've never brought that up. That's such an interesting... I like that.
Yeah.
What's your superpower?
I think maybe your superpower is you are very like focused on your goal, which also could be your weakness of you get anxious and you, like you said, you squeeze things too tight and they die.
Yeah.
But you are very like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right, which is great.
I am.
You know what's so funny? Out of all, I mean, this is going to come across like my first comment I ever said to you when we met.
Here we go.
I'm ending it. I'm
holding onto this leather chair.
Starting over. It's not so funny. That was like my intro, but it was an unnecessary intro. Out of all the people that I know in the Bachelor world, my friends are the most like, Nick is so hot. Can you please set me up with him? And I'm like...
And Becca's like, really? Not Dean?
No, it's,
Dean's really hot.
I love Dean, but, I think people are aware of like his, he's very aware of his emotional attachment issues and commitment issues. So I think people are intimidated by that.
I'm a slow burn, but thank you for saying.
No, it's so true though. Like, and I remember reading Charlene's birthday post about you, how like out of all the people she's ever with, you like when you walk by, it's the most people are like so curious about.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Charlene's.
I know, it's so nice.
She was.
I'll pull it up.
I think for me, I was actually having this conversation with my friend Rachel Bilson
Wait, before
Your
you
friend.
go, wait, hold on.
What?
I went to this event last weekend.
Yeah.
I see her.
Yeah.
I like just naturally was like, hey, I've
She
never
told me
met
she
her.
saw you.
Oh. And then as I'm saying, hey, it's like coming out. I'm like, we don't know each other. Like, I know her, but she does not know me. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I just feel like I know you. And she's like, no, I feel the same way. And I was like, oh, wow.
She's truly the nicest person.
She was so nice.
Yeah.
We were having this conversation, and I said to her,
It's SH.
and I do. I like sometimes I find that there's very few people in this world that I feel like people really get me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like, people will call me mysterious, and that's not like in a dating situation, it kind of feels like a compliment, like, ooh, you're mysterious.
Yeah.
Or other people like will react certain ways, and that has been beneficial to me in other ways. But on the flip side of that coin, sometimes I just feel like very few people don't really get me. I don't feel like I connect with people. I told Rachel, like, I think sometimes my brain just works differently than a lot of people, and there I feel like I have to explain myself. Interesting enough, we were with some of her friends that night, and we were having, and it was just a great conversation with people, and I said this to her friend, and her friend was just like, oh, that's really interesting. You remind me of my son that way. Fast forward like an hour later, her friend asked me a question, and I made some comment, and she was offended, and she like yelled at me. Her friend was like, stop being a dick. And I'm like, I'm not, and it was just how I came across. It was like, I can easily be dismissive without, and I was literally explaining, I'm like, I just have this ability. I'm not trying. I will say something in a way that people will read and feel intimidated by or whatever. I'm not even trying to be. I'm usually in my head, and literally fast forward 45 minutes later, it literally like showed itself.
Yeah.
Anyways, Charlene, to that point, has always been a friend that I just always could be myself around, because she always got me. And even at my worst, she could understand those reasonings for it. It wasn't in a judgmental way. She could point something out that I was doing or doing wrong, but it was never in a way that she couldn't process.
You didn't trigger her, maybe.
It didn't trigger her, right? So I trigger people.
Yes, me. Yeah.
And oftentimes when I trigger people, I'm not trying to trigger people. And then I'm responding to that. And I will get anxiety about like, it'll be exhausting for me, but like, oh God, I did it again.
It's funny though, because Charlene is one of my friends too, and she like champions you. Like, she loves you, and she speaks so highly of you. And I just thought that post was so nice.
She was very, very sweet.
That is.
We'll have Charlene.
Yeah.
We'll have her on.
But yeah, it's interesting because I remember when I first had like a conversation with you, I was like, we don't connect. Like, I'm like, he is not interested in talking to me, and like, I don't know what to talk to him about. Like, I literally was just kind of like, I felt stressed because I didn't feel like the conversation was enjoyable for you.
When was that?
I don't know. I'm sweating thinking about it.
I know I give that feeling. I know I give that feeling off often, and I don't remember, like, and it's not, I don't know. Again, it's definitely helped me, and it's definitely hurt me at the same time.
Have you always been like, is this your personality, or has it happened with, no, I'm just asking, I'm saying like the anxiety of feeling like you have to explain yourself, or like.
My whole life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's, that's a good question. We sometimes, as people who've been on Bachelor Nation, I get very defensive about oh my God, TV's changed you, et cetera, et cetera. I think my last birthday before Charlene posted something, and it was a shorter, but one compliment she said is like, I'm the same person. And I'm sure I've changed in certain aspects, and we've grown.
Right.
But do you feel that way in terms of you being the same person before? Like, yeah, your life's different. You've learned a lot of things, but do you think the show has changed you that much, or you're experiencing your life being a public figure now that you're having designing clothing lines at Macy's, and yet versus the girl who was working at a chiropractic clinic?
Right. I mean, I think that like my life has obviously changed.
Yeah,
and
your
like,
life has changed.
It's totally changed. But
At your
I
core.
think, yeah, at my core, I feel like I'm the exact same person. Other than learning and growing in certain areas that I was maybe closed off to, or like had just, you're taught or you're raised a certain way, and then you go through this path or move somewhere different, and you see other people's points of views, and you grow as a person. But the only thing that's really changed is that before The Bachelor, I never had any sort of like confidence issues. And I think with social media and having to like put myself out there and like take photos all the time, I've noticed I used to post whatever. I didn't do any editing. I just write whatever the photo was when I took it. It was uploaded. And that's changed, You're like, so you nitpick everything about yourself. I mean, I do. I don't know if everyone does.
I think I think that is a disease like that happens to, well, I think that's happened to everyone with
Just
social media.
yeah.
I think it happens in a more heightened version with, people who have any type of social media presence. But I talked about this with when Ashley I was a guest on the live show, is that sure, yeah, you have a following, I have a following, people in Bachelor Nation have a following. But when you poll people, and it was a live show, everyone has the same feeling when it comes to social media. It's all relative. Everyone, when we polled the audience, had the same reaction to like what time of day they post versus like the engagement. Like if a post performs better than one that doesn't, and then the thought that goes into that, and the entire audience had the literally same reaction that Ashley and I have, or that you have just described. And it's all relative, because when you first went on Chris's season, you had, 200, 300, 400,000 followers, whatever. Is it any different now that you have 1 point whatever million followers? It's the same stress and anxiety.
But see, I don't feel, when I just had the following before Instagram, before I went on the show, I just would take a I'd maybe take 3 selfies, choose one of the 3. Now it's like,
I'm talking about I'm talking now once social media has become what it is. Now that like your average, anyone in the street who has 1,000 followers, they know what engagement rate means. They know what brand means. They know like.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I think
Everyone
social media has like the way we talk about it, whether you have a following or not, has changed our perspective on how we value and judge ourselves.
Yeah, it's mean. We're mean to ourselves. We are. We're like, no, you don't look good enough in that. You can't post it for people to see. It's like it's not nice.
There isn't a person yesterday who posted a picture for Mental Health Day who has a social media following and it didn't affect their mental health in a negative way once they posted the picture.
Negative?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like if you posted a picture on mental health and you posted a picture of yourself, I'm assuming, or you didn't, whatever the post was, and you thought of a caption and you put some thought into it. And then you go out there and then either people like it or comment or they don't like it. And there isn't a person who probably didn't get the reaction that they might not even admit it, but everyone who posts, I don't care who you are, will go and look to see how it's performing. Everyone. And it probably definitely affected their mental health in a negative way.
Or
positive.
Could be positive.
It could have outperformed and you felt good about yourself, but like putting value in that is dangerous. And I mean, I'm as just guilty as anyone.
I mean, yeah, we all do.
Yeah, I liked seeing like Jason posted about it, and I was so surprised because he does look like he has all his shit together so well. But it's I think it was good ultimately.
I think it's great that he did that. But what I'm saying is, I saw that post. I liked that post. Caitlin's Jason.
Oh, Tartik.
Yeah, Tartik. But like, I don't know. I guarantee you, he looked at the performance of that post, and one way or the other, it affected him in mental health. He had a thought, right?
Oh yeah,
just guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If
he said he didn't, then he would be the only one in Bachelor Nation who it doesn't affect.
Do you know how stressful it is to post like an ad Instagram?
Oh, I can't
and just
imagine.
Watching how low.
Yes,
you're like,
except for the Charmin one, that one killed.
That one crushed it. I was so pleased, but also I think I get so stressed out for the brain. I'm like,
yeah, you want people,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you want your money back?
Yeah, I literally sometimes want to be like, you want to take half? Let's call it a deal. You probably weren't impressed.
Okay, I'm gonna sound really dumb right now, but I thought you were a nurse. I swear I thought you were a nurse. I was like, wow, she's really doing it all. Because you're scrubbing in, because your podcast and you're in scrubs.
I'm surprised that I actually knew not only that she wasn't a nurse, but it was because of how much she loves Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the podcast, honestly, I'm going to record the scrubbing and after this, and Tanya's going to be thrilled to know this. This is like our dream.
Really?
To be acknowledged in the medical field.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I bet she's a great nurse.
Talk about social media deceiving.
There is nobility in certain professions. We
did a photo shoot like for the podcast logo in our
Yeah.
scrubs, and then we went and had lunch, and the respect that we got in those scrubs was
it's
next level. Like everyone held the door open for us. It was like the you could feel the energy was like, thank you for your services.
yeah. When I was an accountant, then in sales. What do you do? Well, I'm in sales. Huh. Okay. That was generally the reaction I got.
I literally feel
There was
like
never of a, oh, really?
tell me more about that.
I get that a little bit more with natural habits. I don't get it so much. Like the podcast is interesting when people ask me, because podcast is one of those things that everyone's doing so much. So like to say you have a podcast, if they don't know of your podcast, people are like, huh, yeah, of course you do. Versus like, and if people listen to your podcast, it might be different, but it's still not.
Yeah.
We're growing.
You want to hear a good story about podcasts? So we were at the Children's Hospital. They do a prom every year in Orange County. And Tanya and I go, we've been the last 3 years, I think. And we went down there, and every year they have like celebrities come so the kids can meet them. And like these proms are like next level. And so 2 of the actresses from Grey's Anatomy were there. What? And Tanya and I are like, we're freaking out. And Tony's like, we have to say something. Like, we just need to let them know that we have a podcast based on Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, okay, well, you lead the way. I'm like too intimidated. And so she goes up. And so then we're talking, we introduce ourselves, and we're like, we have a podcast. And then it kind of dawned on me that maybe they thought we were like patients. And they're probably like, oh, these girls do podcasts from like their room or whatever. Like they had no idea that we had like, a People's Choice Award winning podcast. And and Sarah Drew, who played April Kepner on the show, ended up coming on the podcast. And I was like, were you just so confused when we bombarded you? And she's like, I don't even think she remembered us, but it was kind of humiliating. Like we walked away kind of like, oof.
Some of there's one actress, Camila. She's a huge Bachelor fan.
Yeah, she loves you, I feel like.
She's a massive Bachelor fan.
Yeah.
I met her at the
We should have her on.
yeah.
You should.
The ABC upfronts or whatever, one of those networking events.
She posted a photo with you, like in the bathroom or something.
You might,
or was that at iHeart Jingle Ball?
I don't know, but she's a big Bachelor fan. Very nice.
I just remember seeing. I was very jealous. So
Becca, we have this game before we send you off called "Do You Know Me?"
Okay.
We're big believers in this show that, especially in dating situations or in any situation, small questions lead to great conversations.
Oh, I agree.
And something, even I work on the small talk. So that way, when I'm not talking to someone, I do that. I'd have this weird feeling of being like, it's something I'm not interested in. I'm sorry for making you feel like I'm not interested in what you have to say. And now we have to mend fences. So anyways, Rochelle and I are going to try to decide who knows Becca Tilley better.
Okay, so how does this work?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Or actually, I'm going to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even going to be directly to you. It's almost going to sound like we're talking about you.
Okay.
You're not going to answer immediately. We're going to guess.
Guess.
Oh, okay.
And then after each one, you will tell us the truth. And if there's a follow-up thing you want to share or a relatable story, great. First question. Has Becca gotten a tattoo in the past? Well, I'll say 2 years. Does Becca have a tattoo?
I know I'm not seeing any from here.
I don't think Becca has a tattoo.
I think she's got a sensible outline of a flower on her
Small of her back.
Yeah, or on her hip bone. Not the small of her back.
I'm offended by the small.
No, on her hip bone, something cute.
I meant I didn't mean it.
Tramp stamp?
I didn't mean to.
Not a drink.
No, definitely. You definitely wouldn't get a tramp stamp. And I'm not judging any. Sorry. Fuck. Anxiety. I don't think Becca.
Same,
I don't
I
think Becca has a tattoo.
I do.
Becca has no tattoos.
What is the answer?
Okay, so this is so embarrassing. I have 2 tattoos.
Yes.
But You literally cannot see one of them anymore. I
Are
got
they
them
black
in very light pink. No, very light pink.
Cute.
One was, it looked like a lipstick kiss. It was inspired by Britney Spears.
Yes.
And my sister and I got it together. And
How old are you?
Gone. 20, I think.
Nice.
And then I have a tiny little Jesus fish that's literally half an inch, and you can barely see it. So that's my.
You wanted to make a statement, but not a big one.
Not too loud. Statement, but not too loud.
So Becca Tilley of you.
I know.
I want to get a tattoo, but I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm just so no one can see it.
Is that not just the epitome of my personality and my tattoos?
Are you still religious?
Yeah, I am definitely religious, but I noticed, sometimes Christians can be like the meanest, like sometimes they're not exactly Christ-like, which is what a Christian's supposed to be. So, but yeah, I'm definitely I get scared of like religion because it has such a bad connotation and also causes so much hate and tension, like politics.
Shame.
But I believe in God. I have a relationship with God. So it's very important in my life, but it is like one of those things that also causes controversy, but something I like stand up for and believe in.
We talk about it a lot. It's an ongoing struggle.
What? Religion? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. 1-0 Rochelle.
Yes.
Off to an early lead.
This is rare.
It is.
I almost just didn't admit it because
I'm so glad you did.
They're so pathetic, but
Rochelle chose these questions. They're great questions,
Okay.
but I feel more comfortable saying you.
Yes.
Oh.
They get a
Chose
little
that.
racy.
Has Becca ever been walked in while having sex? I'm going to augment this question
Okay.
because I don't want to, but anything sexual. Has Becca ever been walked in doing anything?
any sort of hooking up.
Any type of hooking up, any type of sexual activity,
Okay,
not necessarily intercourse.
What's yours? Answer.
My gut wants to say no, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say she's had an awkward, an awkward kind of situation while attempting the hook.
No, I'm saying the doors are bolted shut. She makes very sure.
That's
Very
you're probably
safe,
right.
quiet,
You're probably right.
safe decision.
I'm regretting my choice, but I'm going to stick with it.
What's the answer?
I have been.
Oh, yes.
I won't elaborate, but I have been.
Good job.
All right. Has
But
Becca
after that, it was the doors
Yeah.
were bolted.
never again? Has Becca ever given a lap dance of any kind, not necessarily sexual in nature, maybe a playful one?
Ooh.
I don't know what that would look like, but hey, maybe she was drunk.
Like at a bachelorette party.
Sure.
Yeah.
Has Becca ever given a lap dance? I'm gonna say no.
I'm going to say yes. I mean, with a body like that, how could you not?
God, Riley. I'm really glad I pointed out that Rochelle picked these questions.
I have not. I don't consider myself to have like amazing rhythm.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I'm like, maybe when I was drunk, it could have happened. I'm my best dancer when I'm drunk, as we all are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my go-to move.
Okay.
2-0.
No,
2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Sorry. Does Becca use a camera other than her phone? And when I say use, I mean she owns, not she outsources a professional photographer.
Right. She owns. I think yes. I feel like you're very skilled in lots of different things. You probably know how to do photography. Nick?
Tough call.
Tough call. Phones have great cameras nowadays.
They do. I'm going to say yes as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to say because she owns one of those like Polaroid. She's used a Polaroid.
I used to have a camera I used for a lot, but I haven't used it in a while.
But it's still in your closet?
Actually, my friend has it, so I really haven't had it. So I really only use my phone.
Okay.
No, we picked the same one. We're both like right and wrong at the same time.
Okay. It's a wash.
Has Becca seen someone naked in the past week?
Oh.
Week?
Interesting.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Other than herself.
I assumed.
Good for you.
And you?
And you, Nick?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's great too. Is Becca currently carrying more than $20 in cash in their wallet? I know I'm not. I'm gonna say no.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Woo! What's it for?
I went to the ATM.
You carry cash?
I like to have cash for valet and like
Nice person.
yeah, and tips.
I mean, yeah, the tips, but like with technology, more and more, I carry less and less cash. It's always
Yeah.
and like every time I pull out cash out of the ATM for things like valets or tips or things like that. I mean, it's good and bad. I generally lose it, but when I don't, I will find like $80 in a pocket.
Yeah.
like a month later.
It's a
And I'm
thrill.
Like, wow, what a win!
And like, so when I get my nails done, I can only tip in cash.
Right.
So, and they have an ATM there. So I'll always get like, cash
Yes.
out. And it lasts for a while because I only use it for like tips and valet and
That's
stuff.
what
Cash
it was. It's for her nails.
Do you think cash will ever not exist?
Yeah.
I love cash. It's fun to have it.
I know, but do you think it'll ever?
How are they going to, you can't go to a strip club and hit like Venmo.
I just feel like at some.
Venmo to the one in the pink.
Apple Pay.
Actually, you probably will, but that's the thing. And we were almost there, but at some point, cash will only be used for what is considered like syntax kind of thing. You know, the things that you don't want people to know, you do. Other than that, we will.
Oh, you mean like under the table stuff so that it can't be traced?
That
Yeah.
will be the only reason we use cash.
Well, then it's never going away.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shady stuff.
Does that say something about me that I rarely carry cash? That I'm not
you're
trying
not
to
very
hide.
forward thinking.
That it says that
Yeah.
it's not less about me not trying to hide things and more about that I'm not a planner.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably true.
I didn't even think about like your honesty or integrity. I was just like, he ain't prepared.
Yeah.
Probably true. Just trying to throw myself a bone, but you called me out. Is Becca? Oh, that's the same question. Can Becca recite a poem? Any poem, and not mean one you wrote. I mean a poem. You know, like The Raven. Rochelle picked this one because she definitely can recite at least 5.
She's like ready to show us. She like wanted to show off her
My
stuff.
grandpa used to always recite poems. He was a very funny little man.
Can you? I'm gonna say no.
Yes, she can.
Roses are red.
Yes.
Violets
I
are
guess I
blue.
wasn't thinking about that. First of all, I was like, I'm dumb. I can't do it. I guess I'm dumber for not realizing I could.
If
But
you could
if,
recite The Raven, that would be impressive.
Yeah. Or like what's the one?
Nevermore.
I carry your heart. I carry my heart. It's from a movie. Thought it was famous.
Actually, you probably. Well, would you? A poem. So like scenes from a movie wouldn't count because I feel like you can like quote a lot of movies.
I'm not a huge movie quoter, but I know lyrics. Like I know if I hear a song like 3 times, I know like all of them.
Do you think it's safe to generalize and say more men are better at movie quoting and more women are better at reciting lines from songs?
That would be fair, I
I
think.
feel like movie quotes were like most guys' personalities,
Right?
Like in
Like
middle
growing
school.
up,
That's all they.
that's all we did.
I want to be funny. I'll just quote this funny movie.
No,
I will say-
growing up, I quoted like guys would quote movies, and I would very poorly was reciting lines. But a lot of my women friends would like.
We did not do that.
Yeah. But Caitlin Bristow, I thought she was so cool in Chris's season because she like knew all the funny movie quotes.
Yes.
And Ashley I knows a bunch of movie quotes too, word by word.
Last question: is Becca in the Mile High Club? Absolutely not.
I feel like she's been on a private jet sometime and it's gone down. So,
Becca has
yes.
been on a PJ for sure.
Yeah, she's got a BJ on
I have-
PJ.
I didn't get a BJ.
Why are you blowing down there?
That is not productive.
I don't think you're supposed to do that. I'm still gonna say no.
Yes.
No.
That would have been cool.
And the fact that she was so immediately offended by the fact that I said absolutely not only proved to me that she definitely had not. Because it was like, fuck yeah, I know. Why am I so obvious? I'm not. Are you?
Definitely not.
Are you?
No.
I mean,
I've never been on
unless you're on a private jet, it's really tough. Those bathrooms are not made for two people to do activities.
Right? First of all, yes.
It's
totally
not sexy.
true.
It smells horrible.
It's not sexy. It's not easy. It's a great way to like get in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
So like, what is the upside of fucking in a commercial airline?
I don't know.
So that when someone asks if you're in the Mile High Club,
That's
you say
literally it.
yes. Or do hand jobs count? Like seat next to you?
that could count.
I would
feel
count
like that's
that.
fair. Yeah.
Have you given a tuggy?
No. I haven't
That counts. I have also not done that.
A tuggy.
given a tuggy.
I've definitely not given a
That would
tuggy.
be. I don't even know. It'd be so stressful of people walking by. I don't know.
It would be easier for a guy to put his hands down her pants without it being noticeable.
Right.
I've also not done that.
I don't think so. The angles. No.
The angles, but if you had a blanket, you could do a lot by doing a little.
Okay.
I'm just saying. It doesn't require as much motion.
I'm interested though, as the Mile High Club considers if it's only like sexual intercourse.
Good point.
Yeah.
If we were talking with people who are part of this
Yeah, we
infamous
would-
club, but they'd be like, fucking no, rookie.
We're such losers not in the club.
A hand job? What are you, a fucking amateur? I fuck in the air. That's quotable.
That's the title of this podcast.
I fuck sky high.
Oh no.
I'm still stressed out that I'm in a feud with Miley.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You are.
I'm not in a feud.
She's gonna come after you. She's got a lot of money.
Be honest.
Fans. Oh my god.
Be honest. All of us. I mean, she should do whatever she wants, but like she's going through some shit. I mean, this whole like she's right. She's like clearly
got out of a
Sure.
long marriage. I mean, of course she is.
but she's like definitely acting out in a way. Don't you think?
I don't know. I feel like she was with Liam for so long that she's probably like, I haven't even gotten to do that. Like, I haven't even, as an adult, gotten to have this experience.
I get that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about she's so obvious about it. She's so public about it. And that's the part I'm saying. Because I get it. Like, she could be doing all this and no one would know, could know shit. But I feel like that's more or less her choice.
Although, I almost feel like the paparazzi photos came out and then she addressed it and was kind of like, well, people saw us kissing. So
I don't follow her. And so, again, I don't think that's bad. But from what I understand, so correct me if I'm wrong, she's been putting some stuff on her social and she's been open about it.
Yeah.
Which, again, is fine. But it seems like she's a smart person, I'm assuming. So she's doing it for the reaction. And we do things to get reactions.
Can't comment on it. I've already said it.
Yeah. Can't have any more articles.
Becca Tilley hates Miley Cyrus.
Who wrote that article? I need to DM her and say, please stop the feuding.
Oh, listen, sometimes we complain about the things that we can control. I guess is my point. And maybe Miley can control the things that are frustrating her.
Miley does what Miley wants, and
she should.
And she should.
Hey, listen.
She should
just
do whatever
being
she
Miley.
wants. She's just being
Wrecking Ball and the All American song?
Party in the USA.
Party in the USA, phenomenal songs. I
Yeah.
fucking love them. Every time they come on, my hips can't not move. I'm just saying. Becca, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored
It's such
to be
a
here.
pleasure. Where can people find you?
You can listen to my podcast, Scrubbing In with Becca Tilley and Tanya Rad, my Instagram at Becca Tilley, Twitter, which not as active as I once was.
You were pretty active. I've stepped it up a little bit more. You were always very dedicated, and I was always like,
know.
"Oh, good for you."
And it's one of my favorite apps. I'm just not as I linger. I'm a lingerer. But
And
Twitter's Becca Tilley 5.
Where can people dress like you?
Macy's.com. Thank you. Macy's.com and then we're in over 400 Macy's stores. So if they want to go shop, you can go in store.
Becca is in 400
Congratulations.
Macy's stores. That's
Thank
impressive.
you.
That's something you should be very proud of.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud for you. It's
Thank
really cool.
you.
I haven't figured out whether it's better to be envious or jealous or whatever. I'm not necessarily both, but I think it's just really neat.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
Thanks
It's
so
impressive.
much. That's so nice.
Thanks so much for coming, Becca. Always a pleasure to hang and chat with you. And I'm glad that we've come such a long way.
We really have. The fact that we had an hour and a half conversation just now, and it was like, it was pleasant for me. I don't know how it was for you, but I had a great time.
Quite enjoyed it.
Okay, great. All right.
If I didn't say I did, would you be wondering if I
would
had?
just walk out being like, he hates me.
Do I look
why?
like I hate you?
No, but if you didn't,
If you didn't
reciprocate,
answer,
I'd
that's
be
been a
like,
dick move.
That's how
But
my
I never
brain
do
works.
that.
You never do what?
I see that. Yeah, I don't not.
I'm just saying, if I was like, it was very pleasant for me, and you're like, I'd be like,
Cool.
I gotta go. Launch myself out the window.
I loved it. I hope the people listening loved it too. They'll be the ones to let us know.
That you know, they will let us know what they like and
Yeah.
what they didn't like.
We'll have to have you back soon too.
I love you, Miley Cyrus, and her
Love you too,
fans.
Miley.
I love you, Miley.
Come at me, bro.
No.
Not bro. No.
All right, I think we have to end there.
All right, we have to go.
because
All right, Becca, thanks so much. As always, guys, thanks for listening. We love you. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes. We're coming close to 10,000. Maybe by the time this comes out, I really want to get to 10,000 reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
What are you at right now?
9,000 and something.
Come on, people.
Come on.
Let's do it.
Let's do
it.
Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K, for our Ask Nick episodes on Monday. If you ever want to come back and answer questions with us,
Yeah.
well, we can do that.
Perfect. Ideal.
Thanks for listening. Have a great day. We will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.